coming up. In this historic recreation, a flight of HE-111 bombers take off to hit an Allied airfield, but on their way to hit their target, Spitfires and anti-aircraft do their best to take them down. Will they complete the mission, or will the Allied defenders be too much to handle? Let's find out. Enjoy. Before we get started, I'd like to give a thank you to my Patreon supporters who help make this video possible. If you want to support my content and get access to awesome bonus videos, please consider checking out the Patreon link in the description of this video. It is the early morning when 4 HE-111 bombers prepare to take off on a bombing run. Although this Heinkel bomber is not the most advanced of the war, it is reliable and was produced in very high numbers. Originally created as a civilian aircraft and later converted to serve in the Luftwaffe, it was commonly used throughout the war by Germans for missions just like this one. The mission that they will be on today will be a bombing attempt on an Allied airfield that has been housing many fighters for the RAF. These fighters are becoming more and more of a problem for German air forces, so raids have been ordered to try and hit key structures and fuel supplies to hopefully slow down or cripple these British fighters. The German aircrew, who has been together for a few months now, holds on for the familiar feeling of gaining speed as the aircraft begins to leave the ground. Loaded with bombs, the HE-111 planes are quite heavy, but the German pilots get them up in the air with ease. After a clean takeoff, the German bombers are quickly en route and at bombing altitude over enemy territory. They are cruising and scanning the skies for enemy aircraft. Thus far, it has been an uneventful flight as they have not encountered any enemy aircraft or anti-aircraft fire. However, pretty soon specks appear on the horizon. A flight of Spitfires on patrol have seen the German bombers and are now preparing for an attack. The British fighters line up from above and behind. The lead British aircraft unloads his guns and lands a few hits on the bombers before pulling off. The HE-111 gunners have now opened up and are defending their aircraft against the RAF planes. They are able to land a few hits, but nothing fatal at first. Then, a second Spitfire swoops in and begins to fire as well. But this time, the German gunners are dialed in and score direct hits to the engine of the plane. The RAF pilot, however, stays on target for as long as he can, unloading one final burst even as his plane is engulfed in flames. Shortly thereafter, he opens his canopy and is able to escape the doomed aircraft. After bailing out, his Spitfire falls to the ground and explodes in a ball of fire. Score 1 kill for the German gunners. One last Spitfire comes in from the 6 o'clock position on the lead bomber. He fires everything he has, and he does land some hits, specifically to the wing, but the Germans are lucky as he misses hitting any engines or crew members. The top German gunner on the HE-111 fires his machine guns at the attacker, warding him off as he pulls away. He even gets a clean shot on his belly, managing to hit him a few times, but, likely out of ammo, the Spitfire pulls off and flies for home. As they finally have a moment to breathe, the German crewmen look around their plane to see the damage that was done in the engagement. However, their fight is not over. Although the Spitfires have pulled off and turned for home, they are now approaching their target, where there is sure to be anti-aircraft fire. The bombardier is lining up the site and looking for strategic points to try and hit. But as he does this, the Allied flak begins to open up on the bombers. The sky is filled with dark puffs of smoke, and some rounds strike the HE-111s. As the hangars of the airfield fall into the crosshairs of the bomb site, Bombs Away goes over the radio and the load is released. The bombs are placed well and drift down through the quiet air before hitting the earth. They strike directly on their intended target as the explosions ring out. A key blow like this is what the Germans were looking for on this mission, as they are desperate to keep the British from gaining superiority in the skies. But, unfortunately, it will cost these German airmen dearly. Shortly after their bombs land, a flak shell scores a direct hit on the lead Heinkel. This knocks out both the pilot and the control systems. He is unconscious at the stick as the plane dips down and begins to fall towards the ground. Although it feels like an eternity for the crewmates, just a few seconds later the pilot wakes up. He desperately tries to regain control of the aircraft, but it is not responding to any of the controls. Unfortunately, their fate is sealed. The German crew can do nothing but watch and pray as their aircraft is headed straight for the ground. With one engine on fire, the plane goes down, and the Allied anti-aircraft gunners will add a kill to their total. Sites like this were all too familiar in this period of World War II. Aircraft from both sides landed in fields all over England and France as the air war raged on. I hope you enjoyed this historical recreation. Please make sure to click subscribe and comment if you have any ideas for future videos. If you want to support my content and get access to awesome bonus videos, please check out my Patreon in the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.